Hey everyone, TOTALmtg here, and today I have 5 new 0 rare standard best 1 decks for you, all ready for you to take to MTG Arena. On this channel I focus a lot on budget MTG, top deck lists and MTG Arena gameplay, but out of all the videos I make, the 0 rare deck videos are easily the most popular and favourite of all the viewers as well. So they reach a new audience. If you're one of those new people here for the first time, welcome to the channel. These decks today are great if you're new to MTG and MTG Arena. I'll run through what each deck does and some of the synergies that are involved in some of the decks as well. Anyway, that's enough of the intro. Let's take a look at today's new 5 0 rare decks. First up is a Boros Burn. This is a deck that likes to win quick and do lots of damage with instant spells to our opponent's life total. Now, when you look at this deck, it's predominantly red but does have a splash of white, making it Boros. The splash of white is for a powerful card that's been reprinted in standard called Lightning Helix. This 2 mana instant spell is very powerful for uncommon. It could do 3 damage to any target, plus it has the added bonus of giving us 3 life as well, which is really good in this aggro meta for me. There are mono red burn decks out there, but I think, it makes the land base a little bit easier. But for me, it's definitely worth splashing white for Lightning Helix. Also adding white, that gives us ability to play a card like Destroy Evil. That has 2 helpful options, and in this current meta, both of them are very good for us as well and for the deck. The rest of the burn package is pretty stable with some cards like Play With Fire, we've got 4 of them. Lightning Strike as well with another 4 of them as well. Also with the addition of Kumano Face Kakazan and Voldar and Epicure, they do 1 damage when entering the battlefield as well. So we have the ability to do a heap of damage to our opponent. A creature that synergizes very well with this deck is Kessig Flamebreather. Kessig Flamebreather has, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, we do damage to our opponent. So like previously mentioned, this creature will do 1 damage to each opponent. It's just a really good card and synergizes with a deck that has a lot of spells in it as well. So the more of these on the battlefield, obviously, the more damage we can do when we're playing our spells. So if we do a Lightning Strike to the Dome, we've got Kessigs on there, does an extra damage, 2 of them on there, we've got another damage as well. It's just a really good card for this burn deck. And for me, it's definitely worth being included in the deck. To help find these spells, we have Card Draw in Rin's Resolve and Demand Answers, both very good budget red draw cards for this deck. This deck is just all about doing damage to our opponent. Burn spell after burn spell, and the creatures on there that synergize very well with that Monstrous Swiftspear that can attack on the ground. But Kessig for me is definitely an all-star, and if you like decks that play quick and fast, this is definitely the deck for you. So that was our first deck. Now on to the next, and it's Azorius Detectives. This is a deck, and this one is one of my favourites out of the 5, I must admit. I love decks that play blue, and adding white is also a favourite of mine as well, to be honest. This deck is based around the creature type Detective from the new Murders of Karlov Manor. It has a heavy creature base, this one, not very much different to the one that we previously just mentioned about. This also has a slight control package as well, with low costing removal spells like Ossification and the new counter spell No More Lies. These can help us protect against decks that are trying to come out fast, like the ones previously mentioned, and anything aggro as well can help us protect against the aggro meta. Also, we have cards that can potentially keep the battlefield clear by tapping down creatures, Crime Stopper Sprite by entering the battlefield, and Granite Witness when it's turn faced up as well, after that being played for its disguise, because they can tap creatures down and help stop attacks and help our creatures get through as well. The deck synergizes extremely well. Every creature is a detective, which means cards like Private Eye is the star of the deck for me. Not being legendary as well means that we can have multiple of these on the field, and then our detectives get +1/1 for each Private Eye on the field, just making it bigger and better for us to get those attacks in. That will make us some big, beefier detectives, and they can get bigger as well. Yeah, they can, because Case of the Pilfered Proof has a powerful first ability for this deck, making detectives enter the battlefield with counters for 2 mana is so good for this deck as well. With our creatures helping with card draw as well, you can go through the deck to find what you need, get to those Private Eyes and start building up the deck. The deck really needs to build up your detective army. All in all, it's a very powerful deck. Next deck is Gruul Slime. So when Slime against Humanity was spoiled, I just knew I had to build a deck around it. A deck can have any number of these in it, and just in case you didn't know as well, you only have to craft 4, then you can have as many as the card that you can use basically. This deck has 19 in total, so our plan is to make a whole bunch of Ooze tokens and swarm the battlefield. That is the idea of this deck. Now, the user's power is 2 plus the number of these cards in exile and in your graveyard, so it is okay to put some of these cards in your graveyard. If you do, we have mill creatures in there to do that. The deck runs these mill enablers to get some of them in the yard, like Blanchwood Prowler and Aftermath Analysis. We also have a discard option in case of too many in hand. Sometimes it's better to put some in the yard to build up others. We got 19, so potentially we are going to draw more of these, and we want them bigger and badder on the field as we can. So putting some in the graveyard really, doesn't hurt us too much. One of those discard options is Bitter Reunion, and this as well. This can be sacked to give Oozes haste, paying that mana, putting the users on the field, then swinging straight away on the same turn. Now, the best part I love about this brew is that I put in Twinferno. Twinferno, playing this first and then copying our slime is absolutely epic, so we're going to get 2 of those slimes on the field potentially. Failing that, we can attack in, use it as a combat trick, and then give it double strike as well. So Twinferno is a really good trickster card for this deck with multiple ways that we can use it. The deck is really easy to play, it's a lot of fun, it is a bit glass cannon, I'm not going to lie, it is that, but I've no doubt when you get the wins with this deck, it will feel epic and you can say, go Oozes. Our next deck is Golgari Insidious Roots. Now this is a green-black deck based around Insidious Roots, which is a 2 mana enchantment that gives tokens the ability to tap for mana. It also makes plant tokens when creatures leave the graveyard, and then we have that every time. So this happens when they do it again. The original plant tokens will then get a +1/1 counter. Now, for an uncommon, this is a budget player's dream, this card. You can build this lots of ways. Its low mana costing is good. It's super powerful with a graveyard package. Now, standard has some really good creatures that we can utilise for this. Cards like Cult Conscript and Persistent Specimen are what we use in this deck to replay as much as we can. The graveyard recursion in this deck is well off the charts, and it needs to be, as we aim to fill the graveyard up and then replay these creatures as many times as we can, putting them on the battlefield, triggering the enchantment, and then maybe sacking them for something. Maybe they die and then we get to replay them again and get those plant tokens going. That is what you want to do with the deck. Now, we have Aftermath Analysis in there, Undead Butler, Eccentric Farmer. All of these will mill cards into our graveyard, where then we aim to play our skeletons back. From there, triggering the roots, making lots of plants, making them huge. Recursion in Gloomshrieker, Urban Procession as well. Urban Repossession helps the deck tick over as we amass our massive board of plants. And it really can take over a game once you start doing the synergistic things of sacking, graveyard, replaying, and then just getting plants amassed until they get really big and swing for the attacks. The deck also has good removal. We've got Cut Down as well in the deck. We've got Bitter Triumph that can help. It has discard. We can discard a skeleton to replay again, also from the graveyard. Plus card draw in Reckless Bargain, where we can use the sack ability and then get our skellies back out from play from the graveyard and draw more cards as well. All this deck is a synergistic wonder to me. I really enjoy playing this one, and it's one that I think you would again enjoy, and let me know what you think if you give it a go. The last deck today is Izzet Artifacts, another synergistic deck, which is what I aim to do when I'm doing 0 rare decks. You need that synergy to gain the power that you're missing from some rare and mythic cards, and you can find that in common and uncommon cards, which is what these decks are all about. This one aims to amass a board of creatures with Third Path Iconoclast, or the deck's other win con in making huge drakes by sacrificing artifacts and then mounting counters on their drakes as well. There's a total of 27 non-creature spells in this deck, which is a massive amount to get triggers with the Third Path Iconoclast. Also amongst those spells are ways to protect and give our creatures with counter spells like Make Disappear. We can have a bounce effect, Fading Hope in there that can also be used, obviously not just to bounce opponents' creatures, but good to save our own creatures as well and bring them back to hand, and maybe we have to start again. But if we get the Iconoclast back, it's not a bad thing. It's only 2 mana, we can replay and then start playing our non-creature spells as well again. The deck has a fair amount of removal as well, which is needed in this heavy aggro meta, because sometimes just playing those creatures is just not enough. We need to deal with the board state first, and then we get our creatures into play with this deck. For this, the deck is using Torch the Tower for its sacking artifact bargain ability as well. We also has Lithomatic Barrage as well, Obliterating Bolt, and also Rebel Salvo. Rebel Salvo is there for those naughty shielders, and we know how awkward and annoying they are, so get this in there, 3 of in the deck as well. It also has Invasion of Kaladesh, which can make a Thopter when it enters, and it can be transformed into another artifact power based flying beta 2. This will be in there as another type of win con. If we can get, with all our creatures on the field, when we amass a field of army, we can then attack it, get it transformed, and then this creature's power is the amount of extra artifacts that we have on the field. And it can be massive, and it has evasion as well. It is another flyer. So if this deck can keep the Iconoclast on the field long enough to make those soldiers, it then buys its time ready for the Drakes to do its work. We can be sacking the map tokens from Spyglass, Siren, and obviously the clue tokens of itself as well. Failing that, leaving the artifacts on the field ready for our flipped battle as well, and then we'll have a massive beta from that. So there's 5 decks for you today. I hope you've really enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think. It's a different way of doing the videos for me. Usually I just put up Arena and then just talk about that. Today, obviously, it's been a long time doing the graphics and doing this different type of way, writing scripts and everything like that. I'm sure I will get better at reading them as well, and it'll flow a lot better. But I'd appreciate your thoughts down below of the new thumbnails as well. Just trying to make the videos, as good as I can for you. So sometimes they might take a bit longer, but hopefully the quality is going to be a lot better for you as well. Let me know if you want to see any of these decks in gameplay as well. I'm quite happy to put some out there. Put a little comment down below. Thanks for watching. Give the video a big thumbs up. Really helps support the video and shows it to new people. If you want to go a bit extra further, I do have a Patreon down below, which is a great way to support me, and you get deck lists like this all early and everything like that. And then if you want to get these cards in paper and take them to your Friday night FNMs, check out my sponsors down below, Cardmarket, and you can go and get all your card wants from them. Anyway, you lot take care, and I'll see you on the next video.